welcome. Today I will be sharing a yoga session with you, and it will take about 45 minutes. I won't be timing it exactly. That's how long we're aiming for. You can always feel free to pause the video and take your time during warm-up and take your time at the end of the video during Shavasana to do it a little bit longer or to your liking. So, Namaste, my name is Domna, and we're going to begin in a seated posture with hands on the thighs, closing down the eyes, sitting nice and tall in your mountain pose from the hips up to the crown. With the eyes closed, bring your awareness into your sit bones. And just notice your sit bones firmly grounded into the floor. From there, notice the crown of the head reaching tall and the spine elongating, the slight muscles around the core switched on to hold you upright. If you're at home and you'd like to open the session with an Om sound of your own, you can feel free. Today I will open the session with chimes and one chant of Om. So these are my Tibetan chimes. Deep breath in. So once more, just settling down in your seated posture. Start to focus in on the breath. And notice the breath going in through the nostrils, filling up the lungs, the chest, the belly, and back out of the nostrils, pressing out all of the oxygen before taking your next round. Taking 3 nice big rounds of breath. See if you can hold your attention and awareness in the palms of your hands while you breathe. And then we'll make our way into tabletop all fours pose. Starting out, stacking the knees upon or underneath the hips, shoulders over the wrists. Breathing in, dip the belly down, gaze and tailbone extends. And breathing out, send the mid back to the ceiling, pull the belly towards the spine and tuck the chin and the tailbone. Keep going with your own rhythm of breath. Moving slowly, awakening up the spine. Have your eyes closed so that you can feel what this feels like in your body. Feel free to make any other movements that your body might need right now in order to waken up. Taking about 3 to 5 rounds of breath to awaken your body. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, you can bring that into practice now. Now finding a little bit of stillness. We're going to raise the right leg to the back of the mat. Flex the toes, all 5 toes pointing to the floor, firing up the hamstrings of the right leg. And then take the right foot over to the left. Plant it down, the whole bottom of the foot on the floor. Raise your right hand up. Press your hips out. And we'll change sides. Left leg rises, flex the foot, fire up the hamstrings. Then place the foot down, plant it flat on the sole of the foot, raising the left hand high. Pressing the hips out, and all fours. Now you want to rock back onto your toes for a Caesar's pose, tucking all 10 toes, especially the little toe. We're just going to take a couple of wrist rolls, so clasp your hands together and take the wrists around in these rolls, and then the opposite direction. And what you do is when you take any part of your joints and you take them to the full rotation, hands on shoulders now, rolling forward, you actually release synovial fluid, which is the fluid that feeds the cartilage in the joint. So that is really good for stopping the degeneration of the joints. So take the circle of the elbows in the opposite direction in big circles as you can. Take deep breaths in and out as you move. And then stop. I'm going to place the hands back on the floor. Extend the right foot out. Just roll the ankle a couple of times to its full capacity of rotation, and then the opposite direction. Taking the left leg out, rolling the ankle, and then in the opposite direction. And why are we warming up the joints? Because we're about to bear weight on them. So tucking the toes, spread your fingers wide, make sure that they're shoulder width apart, and grip them out with your fingertips. Press down firmly through the index finger knuckle especially, and send the hips up high for downward facing dog. So feel your hips extending up towards the ceiling and elongating the spine. Feel free to pedal out the feet, bending one knee at a time. Now, as we're bearing weight on the wrists at the moment, you want to keep gripping the mat with your fingertips to protect the wrist joints. Now, coming into a plank pose, shoulders stack directly over the wrists. Press down firmly through the hands so that your shoulders are engaged as well as the wrists. Rock the weight forward over the toes and bend the elbows, keep them nice and close towards the body, lowering down all the way to the belly. Untuck the toes, hands by your lower ribs, extend your neck out like a turtle coming out of its shell, shoulders down, away from the ears, and squeeze your shoulder blades together. One more breath as you rise your cobra a little bit higher, and fold. Rise up cobra, and relax. One more time, cobra, pressing down through the tops of the back feet, and downward facing dog. Come through the knees, take it slow as your body awakens. Now, I want you to actually come into a child's pose. Bring your knees down, big toes to touch, send your knees wide, and sink your forehead to the mat, relaxing the arms down in front of you. Now, here I just want you to scan your body and feel into, from the fingertips all the way up to the elbows, to the shoulders, all the way through the body. Take your time with this and notice if you have any sensations or sensitivities, any way you need to be careful of today. So every day of your practice is different. I notice today for myself, I have sensitivity in my right elbow. So I will be careful with weight bearing on that area today until the pain subsides. So I want you to do the same. Scan your body all the way from your fingers, down the back, into the hips, the legs, the knees, the ankles. Notice if there's anywhere you need to be careful of today, and take notes. Alright, back into a downward facing dog. We're going to begin by raising the right leg high. Bend the knee, open up the hips, send the kneecap to the ceiling. Keep the shoulders squared as much as possible. If you like, you can flip your dog, landing the right foot behind you and pressing the hips open to the ceiling. Flip back to the other side. Keep the right leg raised and send it to tiger curl. Knee in towards the chest. Send the right foot through the left arm. Land it down. And rock star. I'm going to be really careful with my elbow here today. Raising your left hand high. Press the hips up high. You'll feel your internal side muscles turning on here. Alright, back to downward facing dog. We'll take the other side, lifting left leg high, bend the knee, open up the hips, maybe flip your dog. Careful of any injuries you might have. Pressing the hips up high and back to downward facing dog. Lifting left leg again, tiger curl, knee in towards the chest, and rock star, send it over towards the right. Lift your right hand up, press your hips towards the ceiling, deep breath in, and downward facing dog once more. Should be feeling nice and warm by now. Take a deep breath in, long breath out, and walk, step, or hop the feet towards the top of the mat for a ragdoll, taking hold of opposite elbows. Relax the torso, relax the neck, relax the shoulders. Maybe take a few sways side to side. Let the spine decompress. And then release the arms, roll up the spine one vertebra at a time and curling. Once you reach the top, when your crown is settled upon the whole entire body, take the hands upward to the ceiling and then in towards the heart for Anjali Mudra. Close down the eyes, set an intention for your practice. Now release the hands by your side. We're going to set up for a mountain pose. Mountain pose, I feel like it's a little bit misunderstood. It is the most important and fundamental pose of the entire practice of yoga. If you can get your mountain pose right, you can get all of the poses thereon right as well. So find your feet hip distance apart. Now, some of us might think that our hips are here at the edges of where the body is. That's not right. You want to find the hip bone at the frontal point of the body and draw a straight line down and find the feet directly under that bone. Alright, make sure your feet are parallel. And then I want you to close your eyes, stand as tall as you can, relax your shoulders away from your ears, and find your awareness at the bottoms of your feet. Notice whether your weight is evenly balanced between the front, the back, the left, and the right. And then I want you to bring your awareness into your spine. And I'm just going to demonstrate here. My usual way of standing is like this. So as you can see, I have a little bit of an extra curve in my lower back. That's quite typical for a lot of women. And what you want to do, if that's like you as well, is take your hip bones, peel them up towards the belly button. So it's a slight tucking of the pelvis. Now what happens here is the muscles of the lower pelvis switch on, so it tightens the front, and at the same time the tailbone reaches down towards the earth and it lengthens the back. So we're decompressing in the lower spine and we're strengthening the core. Really good for lower back problems. So you hold that. Now if you don't have that hyperlordosis and perhaps you have a naturally straight spine, I just want you to find your mountain pose in whatever way feels natural for you. Press down through the feet, elongate your crown tall, drop your shoulders away from your ears once more. Feel your core muscles engaging slightly around your spine so as to protect that joint or that group of joints. One more big breath in. Feel your chest expand and let it go. Let's take another inhale, hands high. And forward fold, release the breath. Halfway lift, long flat back. Now here in your halfway lift, can you send your hip bones back towards the back of the mat and the crown forward. Reach your shoulder blades up so that you've got like a straight flat tabletop. If your hands come off the mat, you want to place your hands on your lower legs. Take another breath in, get really long through the spine, and then high plank, spread your fingers wide, ground your feet, and lower down, come forward over your toes. You can always bring your knees down here as long as you've got a straight line from the crown to the knees, and your hips, again, peel them up towards the belly button so that you engage the core and lengthen the tailbone. Lower down to exhale. Keep the elbows in tucked close. And then cobra, breathe in, long neck, and downward facing dog, breathing out. We're going to do that a couple more times. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Walk, step, or hop your feet to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Roll up to standing, deep breath in. Hands to heart, exhale. Re-engage your hips, elongate your tailbone. Hands high, deep breath in. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift. You can jump back into a high plank. If you do, make sure your elbows are bent as you land, lower down. Cobra. And downward facing dog. Last one, deep breath in. Long breath out. Walk, step, or hop to the top. On the zero breath, halfway lift to breathe in. Forward fold, breathing out. Tadasana, sweeping hands high, breathing in. Hands to heart, breathing out. Breath in, hands high. Forward fold, breathing out. Halfway lift. High plank to low plank on the exhale. Cobra or upward facing dog. Inhale, make sure in upward facing, your shoulders are back, your heart is out, your core is turned on, whether your knees are grounded or the tops of your feet. And downward facing dog is where we'll meet. From here, raising right leg to the back. Low lunge, exhale, right foot by the right thumb. Now see that you've got enough space between your legs, like you're on train tracks rather than tightrope. You want to have space between your legs so that when you come up, you've got a stability. Take your right hand high for an easy twist. And bring it back down. Rise up for a crescent lunge. Sending the hands high. Now come to the ball of your left foot. Bend your left knee as deeply as you need to so that you can tilt your hip bones up towards the belly button and find that engagement of the lower core and lengthening of the spine. Hold that there Perhaps you want to deepen it by looking up and maybe finding a little back bend. And then tall pyramid pose, straightening your right leg, hands to the mat. Find a long flat back and then start forward folding. Now, blocks can be really handy here. If I had 2 blocks, I would have one right underneath the shoulder joint. The wrist must be underneath the shoulder joint and on the other side as well. So whenever we're using any props or basically with any pose, we want to try and stack joint upon joint for stability. Rebend the right knee, sweeping hands high, and arrowhead, exhale, crown forward, shoulders back. Find an external rotation of the thumbs as if you're presenting your heart to the world, heart open. Find your hip bones, peel them up towards your belly button again, engage the core. Now bring your hands to your heart and twist to your right, elbow to the knee. Now, if this is a little bit too challenging, you can bring your left knee down. Alternatively, you can also have your left hand on your knee, your right hand on your lower back. The idea here is to have squared hips and twisting from the mid-back. One more breath. And low lunge, exhale. Now, 3-legged dog, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Should you wish to, high plank, breathing in. Lowering down to breathe out. Cobra or upward facing dog, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. You can make Chaturanga Dandasana, that high plank to low plank, as strong or as supported as you need it. Today I'm taking support for my elbow. Now let's raise the left leg high. Low lunge. Left foot by the left thumb. Here, sink your hips so you've got a nice straight line from the back heel all the way to the crown. Lifting left hand high, easy twist. Maybe gaze at the hand, feel the twist from the thoracic spine. And bring the hand back down. Make sure you've got a bit of space between your legs. Train tracks apart. And then rise on up for your crescent lunge. Inhale. Come to the ball of the back foot, bend the back knee so that you can tilt your hips up towards your belly button, engage your core, lengthen your spine. 2 very important cues for me personally, and anybody who has that hyper bend in the lower back. Here, maybe gaze upwards through the hands for another breath in, and tall pyramid pose. Hands to the mat, straighten out the left leg. Find a long flat back and then find your fold. Here you can be pulling your left hip back, your right hip forward to square the hips and deepen the stretch. 2 more long breaths. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Last one. Rebending the left knee, sweeping up, crescent lunge, and arrowhead, 45-degree angle of the body, hands sweep back, neck long, shoulder blades together, and hip bones up towards the belly button to engage the core. Here, bring your hands to heart, tilt 45 degrees, a little bit more, twisting to the left, elbow to the knee, and maybe gazing up towards the ceiling. Maybe if you like to open up your wings, bit of a stronger practice. If you need some support, drop your right knee to the mat. 1 more breath in. And low lunge, hands to the mat, 3-legged dog, breathing in. high plank or high plank to low plank, breathing out. Cobra or upward facing dog, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Now I could feel that twinge in my shoulder and my elbow. And for you, if you know that there's any way you're sensitive right now, please take it easy. No one's watching. All right, we're going to do deep breath in, long breath out. On the 0 breath, hop to the top of the mat, big toes to touch, heels slightly apart, and Utkatasana chair pose. Now, notice whether you can see your toes, make sure you can. Send your hips back a little bit further if you can't. Now, even in this pose, you want to find your hip bones, peel them up towards your belly button, elongate the lower back, pull the belly in. Makes it harder, but it's stronger. From here, hands to heart. I'm going to sink down a little bit deeper and twist to the right. Elbow to knee. See if you can make sure that your hips are lower than your heart. Sometimes you want to come in like this. But what you want to do is sink your hips lower than your heart so you're working your thigh muscles. Keep breathing, deep breaths in, long breath out. Next inhale, take a length through the spine, twist a little bit more for the exhale. One more breath in, and fold. Straightening up the legs. Let's take a gorilla pose. Bring the feet hip distance apart. Slide the hands underneath the feet. Toes all the way to the wrist crease. Take a deep breath in, long flat back, and fold. Crown to the mat. You can work your legs straight here. Or just hang out wherever you are. If you like to bend your elbows towards your shins, that can give your outer wrists a nice stretch. And release the palms of the hands. We're going to take a halfway lift. Forward fold, big toes to touch, heels slightly apart, and Utkatasana. Once more, sink on down with me. Look at your toes, make sure you can see them. And then hands to heart, sink a little bit deeper, twisting to the left. Use your elbow against your knee. Alternatively, remember you can have your hand on your knee and the left hand on your lower back. On the inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, twist a little bit deeper. One more big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Last one. And fold. Take a halfway lift. Chaturanga Dandasana, high plank to low plank as you breathe out. Cobra or upward facing dog, breathing in. And downward facing dog, breathing out. Alright, here we go. Right leg high. Low lunge, exhale. We're going to flow with the breath. One breath in, crescent lunge. Tall pyramid, straighten your right leg, hands to the floor. Crescent lunge, breathing in. Arrowhead, breathing out. Hands to heart, inhale. Twist to the right, exhale. Take a full breath here. And we're going to come into chair pose twist, bringing the left foot to meet the right. Take another breath in and fold. Take a halfway lift and fold. Chair pose, inhale, hands to heart, exhale. Twist to the left, inhale first. Here we go, twisting on the exhale. Here, take an inhale, and then take your right leg out for twisted crescent lunge. Take a breath in, and out. Back to crescent lunge. Inhale. Tall pyramid. Exhale, straightening the left leg. Inhale, crescent lunge. And arrowhead. Exhale. Let's take an inhale, hands to the front of the room. And then low lunge to exhale. Three-legged dog. Breath in. Downward facing dog or Chaturanga Dandasana. Deep breath in. Long breath out. Let's take the other side. Left leg rises. Inhale. Low lunge. Exhale. Crescent lunge. Inhale. Tall pyramid. Exhale. Crescent lunge. Inhale. Arrowhead. Exhale. Hands to the heart. Inhale. Twist to the left. Exhale. Chair pose. Both feet to the top. Inhale. And exhale. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale. Forward fold. Chair twist. Hands to heart. Inhale. Twisting to the right. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen the spine, left leg back, twisted crescent lunge, exhale. Take a breath in and out. Crescent lunge, inhale. Tall pyramid pose, exhale. Crescent lunge, inhale. Arrowhead, exhale. Hands out to the front, inhale. Low lunge to exhale, three-legged dog, breathing in, downward facing dog or high plank to low plank. Wonderful, let's bring the knees down, big toes to touch, knees apart, and sinking into a chair pose, child's pose. Enough with the chairs. Here, allow your chest just deepen and fall closer to the floor. Notice your rhythm of breath. Perhaps notice your heartbeat. Or if there's any breeze, can you feel the breeze on your skin? Can you hear the sounds around you? Perhaps a bird or a car. For my international students,